Hello Diversity Abroad community, Ashley Young here, and this is my returnee vlog after spending 6 weeks in India. For those of you who don't know, I spent 4 weeks in Mumbai, India, participating in a film and media internship through the Indian Study Abroad Center. I spent the other 6 weeks in a small village called Malavli, which is about 3 hours from Mumbai, and I did a service learning program in which I taught at the Modern English School. I actually returned from India about a week ago, and I'm really excited to just share my final reflections of my entire experience abroad with the Diversity Abroad community. Anyone who has followed my blogs on the Diversity Abroad blogs will know more so of my experiences, but for those who don't know, I'm not gonna touch on everything, but I just want to hit on some important things that I've learned, some very eye-opening experience that I had while abroad, and just give a more condensed version of my blogs that I completed during my time abroad. Now, I know most people probably want to hear about all the wonderful experiences that I had, and I'm going to get to those, but one thing that I really wanted to touch on was the discrimination that I faced during my time in Mumbai, and how it has changed me and enhance my consciousness of things in this world, such as racism and color discrimination. When I arrived in Mumbai, I knew that I was going to encounter stares and curiosity, just because I am different, and the natives of the area could tell. I had long braids at the time, the back of my head is shaved, so I knew I would draw in a lot of attention, but I didn't know to what extent the color discrimination played a part in India's society. So yeah, during my time in Mumbai, I faced a lot of experiences where I felt like I was being discriminated against, not only because I was a foreigner, but because I am a darker skinned woman, and within Indian society, fairer skin is seen as more superior and darker skin is seen as, bottom class. So that definitely played a part in why people treated me a certain way in comparison to my white counterparts. Also, there has been a lot of drug-related and prostitution-related incidents with Nigerians and Sudanese people within different places in India. So a lot of Indians also have this negative outlook on and negative perspective of Africans, and to them I looked African. A lot of people asked if I was from South Africa, and they were really surprised when I said no, I'm American, because to them they associate American with white. They watch TV shows like Friends, and they see those type of people as Americans. So people who look like me are seen as Caribbean or African or anything but American. Now, before going to India, I was already conscious of racism and discrimination and prejudice and issues of, injustice based off of race, just because I'm very informed about these things. I inform myself about these things, especially with so much going on in our country and so much being racially stimulated right now. But I think that I kind of lost it in the excitement of preparing to go to India. Like, I didn't think that I would have to deal with racism so blatantly when I went to another country, so I was a little taken back by it, and I think that's why initially I took it so hard, because I wasn't expecting to have to face blatant discrimination when I was looking forward to this trip so much and just wanted to embrace the culture. But I guess part of embracing a culture is taking the negative that comes within that culture as well. So that's what I decided to do. About a week into it, I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to plot how I could get out of this program. I didn't want to be there. I felt so uncomfortable traveling sometimes because I knew people would say things to me or treat me a certain way based off of my skin color. And it was very in your face, and they had no regard for your feelings, or well, for my feelings. But after a week, I was just like, this is not me. I'm not someone who dwells on things like this. If anything, I'm going to try to change these people's perspective by being who I am and showing them that yes, I'm a darker skinned woman, I'm an American, and I'm proud of those things, and I'm not going to let their society, or what they believe, affect my trip. So when I made that conscious decision to stop worrying about what people were thinking, I was able to enjoy my trip so much more. So my advice to women of color who travel abroad and have to face discrimination or just face uncomfortable situations is to be very aware of your surroundings. Be on guard, but don't let that stop you from enjoying your time in this country, in these cities, and from experience as much as you possibly can. Because if you spend so much time worrying and dwelling on things, you're going to be in this negative state of mind, and you don't want that. You've traveled all this way. I traveled over 8,000 miles, and I was not about to let some ignorant people or people who are just not educated about people who look like me stop me from experiencing all the positive and wonderful experiences that India had to offer, that Mumbai had to offer. And like I said, once I made that conscious decision, I was able to just experience so many wonderful things, and to just meet great people, and to just live and not worry. So that's the best advice I can do, is like overcome that adversity. And no matter where you go, you might encounter people who are going to be ignorant, who are going to make you feel uncomfortable, or maybe just be blatantly racist, but you just have to take it with a grain of salt and live life. Now, I was actually really surprised, because before going to Mumbai, I was told that it was like a city that was a melting pot for diversity, and I really believe that that's what it was. And I still do believe that certain parts of Mumbai are very open to foreigners and to tourists and to diversity. However, the area that we were staying in is not a foreigner or tourist friendly place, and those are the words of an alumni from my school who I met with in Mumbai. She actually was the commencement speaker at my graduation in April, and she currently lives in Mumbai, in South Mumbai, and she's also the editor-in-chief of India's #1 travel magazine called Condé Nast Traveler India. So I ended up meeting with her for lunch, and she told me that the area that we were staying in, which was Gorgon East, was not a place with educated people who would be open-minded about people who look like me. And that was very obvious. But when we traveled, me and the other girls in the program traveled to South Mumbai and other more modern parts of the city, we were able to just meet people who were a lot more open-minded, who were used to seeing people like us, who talked to us and was friendly to everyone, and I didn't feel like I was being excluded from anything or discriminated against. So it was really great to get out of the area that we lived in and to just explore the rest of the city where people would be more welcoming. So if I had to give advice to the India Study Abroad Center, I would tell them that they should try to find a guest house in a more tourist or foreigner friendly place, so that students who look like me or who just have a chance of being discriminated against will not have to deal with that. And I know it's a part of the experience, but I would like it if where I lay my head, I wouldn't have to worry about if people are going to treat me a certain way because of my skin color or because of where I come from. And I was really surprised also because when I went to Malavli for my last 2 weeks of my program to teach at the Modern English School, the people there were totally different. And I was expecting the more rural village to be more closed-minded and not as open to people who look like me, but they were the friendliest people that I met during my time in India. My second day in Malavli, another girl who was also African American with long braids, she took me out into town and we went to see some caves and we went to explore. Though she had already done this, she just wanted to show me around. And while we were out, people just wanted to talk to us and they wanted to take pictures with us and they wanted us to hold their children, and it was a different type of experience, and it was one that was just so nice to have because I had dealt with so much negativity about my skin color and about me being different during my time in Mumbai, that being somewhere where people were just like, hi, how are you, and were curious to learn about me as opposed to judging me. It was just a great feeling. So now that I kind of briefly discussed a more serious issue that I had, I would just like to share some of the great experience that I had. Now I won't be able to share them all just because I'm not trying to make this video super long, but I just want to share some of the highlights of my trip. In my time in Mumbai, I was participating in the film and media program, and it was really great to just get the behind the scenes look. We got to go to sets of TV shows and to film sets and to see post-production, and then ultimately we got to work on our own short film, and it was just a great experience to see how Hindi cinema compares to American cinema and how it differs in many ways. It was also really fun to go out with the other girls and just explore, you know, just hop in a rickshaw and just go. We got to go to 3 different malls, one in which had a roller coaster at the very top of it called Infinity Mall, and the roller coaster was really cool. It was at the top of the mall and it slowed down at times when you were on it, so you could really see the entire aerial view of the mall, so it was really cool. I also loved going to Kalaba, and that's in South Mumbai. It's like a shopping strip, and we went there like every weekend to get gifts for people back home and to shop for ourselves. So it was always a great time when we went to South Mumbai because we could try different restaurants and do a lot of great shopping. We went to the Gateway of India, and we also went to the Taj Palace Hotel twice. The second time we actually went inside the palace, and it was absolutely stunning, and we had tea and smoothies and got to talk and just enjoy the beautiful scenery. So that was also a really great experience. Honestly, Mumbai was just beautiful. Besides, like, you know, having to face the discrimination and all those things in the area where we live, when we went out and explored, it was always a great time, and we saw so many wonderful things. We got to meet really nice people. I kind of wish I had more time to explore Mumbai, because like during the week it was hard because we were doing stuff for our program, so we only had weekends to really go out and explore, and those 4 weekends, well, 3 weekends weren't enough to see everything in Mumbai. But for the time that we had, I had a lot of great experiences with the other girls and got to see some really cool things. Malavli was like my favorite part of my time in India. The children in the modern English school made everything worth it. You know, every negative experience that I had was just blown out of the water by all the positive experiences that I had at the school in Malavli, and you know, in Lonavala, which is like right next to Malavli, and then going to Pune, which is a city, you know, an hour away from Malavli. It's just like the experiences that I had in my last 2 weeks made up for any negative experience that I had, because I was encountering so many great people who just were nice and friendly and just impacted me in ways that I hadn't been impacted yet during my time in Mumbai. I think what I love the most about Malavli, besides the fact that the people were so wonderful and so nice to me, was the fact that they didn't have much, but these people were so positive and joyous and happy, and it really impacted me, because I'm coming from a country where children as young as 3 years old have iPads and iPhones and so many tech savvy things, and I see children playing with, you know, glass bottles and bottle caps, and they're happy and they're just grateful for what they have. And it was so humbling for me, because I knew that I was coming back to America where I would have all these different luxuries available to me. But being there and seeing how I could do with the bare minimums, you know, sometimes we didn't have electricity, sometimes we didn't have hot water. I was living with, you know, rats, and we had a rat in our house, and we had ants and so many different types of insects, but none of that mattered, because I was just enjoying my time and taking the experience for what it was and really just living like a native. And it was a humbling experience, and I'm just so touched by the children who I encounter at the modern English school, just because they're so eager to learn. They're vibrant, and though like there was definitely a language barrier because they speak in Marathi, I speak only English, we still were able to communicate in ways that go beyond language. And I think it was just the best part of my trip, being able to touch those children and have them like impact me as well. And it made it so hard to leave at the end of my trip. Like, I did not want to go. I didn't want to leave my students. I learned all their names, and each day we worked on something that built on a lesson that we had already worked on, and they were just eager to do homework because they weren't used to getting homework, and they loved stickers, and they were just so happy, and they loved me being there, and I could feel the love every time I walked in, and it was just a great feeling. So yeah, on my last day, it was definitely emotional. I had so much fun because I spent most of my time with the third graders, or what they call the third standard, and we had so much fun. I actually brought a cake in. We had cake and we played Simon Says, even though they call it Simone Says, and we just had a wonderful time. But by the end of the day, I was just emotional, and I could tell that they were getting emotional too, because they knew that it was coming to an end, and it was just really hard. So with that being said, I am doing a school supplies drive when I host my event at my university in a few months, and I'm going to collect school supplies and classroom decorations and other things that I can send back to the school. They're moving to a new building, they're going to need all these new things, and I just want to give back to those children because what they have given me, and I don't even think they're aware of how much they have impacted me and made me want to do more. But I formed a relationship with that school now, with those students, and I want to continue that relationship. At the end of this video, I'm actually going to share some of the videos that I took during my time abroad, just so you guys can get more of a glance of, you know, the places that I've seen and the people that I've encountered and the children that I've taught, and really just get a look into what my experience was in India. So before I end this video, I just want to say to all the students who are watching this right now and considering studying abroad, don't consider it, do it. Start planning, start looking for scholarships, start looking for grants that will help you pay for this experience, because it was one of the best experiences that I've ever had. It was life-changing, eye-opening, so many things, and I think that if anyone is given an opportunity to study abroad and to go explore another culture and to just interact with different people, you should. It's time to plan and to just find a place that really sparks your interest and to just go for it, because you don't want to miss out on something like this, especially when other people and organizations can pay for it, because scholarships really paid for this entire experience for me. So I would just advise all of you students out there to write your scholarship letters, you know, look for different scholarships, work with your director of study abroad at your university, and just go for it. You won't regret it, I promise you. So yeah, that's all for this Returnee video. I hope you enjoyed hearing about some of my experiences. If you would like to, you know, read more about, you know, my week-to-week experiences, you can go on the Diversity Abroad blog and read my blogs, which are in 2-week intervals. And yeah, enjoy the videos at the end of this one. Bye.